Hello, Namaste to everyone. I welcome you all to this Karnataka LMS, a digital learning initiative by the Department of Collegiate and Technical Education Government of Karnataka. This is the English class for the BCom program and third semester of Bengaluru North University. Well, in this session we are going to learn a lesson titled as the Bishop's Candlesticks. Friends, this is a lesson written by Norman MacKennell. It is an adaptation of a section of Victor Hugo's Les Miserables. Let us come to the contents of this session. In this session, we are going to discuss the critical appreciation of the play, The Bishop's Candlesticks. The play Bishop's Candlesticks by Norman MacKennell is a very sensitive play, an adaptation of a section of Victor Hugo's Les Miserables. The play dramatically depicts how the love and compassion of Bishop brought about a change in the heart of a convict and turned him into a man of promise for a good life. The play, which is very interesting and captivating, based on the theme that love and kindness can change a man. Most people do not accept crime. Instead, they are forced to enter the world of crime by ruthless people or circumstances beyond their control. The play opens in the bishop's house. The bishop was a kind-hearted man who followed the teachings of Jesus Christ in the true spirit. Besides being a Christian, he was also an ardent humanist. The bishop was ready to sacrifice everything to help needy people. It is a cold winter night. On the mantelpiece there are two very handsome candlesticks. They are quite out of place with a plain furnishing of the room. Mary, the maidservant, is seen stirring some soup on the fire. Bishop's sister Persume laying the cloth. She looks worried. He is already 11 o'clock. She wonders whether the bishop can be at his late hour. She asked Mary if there was any message. Mary tells her that the bishop has gone to see ailing mother. Persume snubs her. Persume asks Mary if she has placed the salt cellars on the table. Mary tells her that the bishop had sold the salt cellars to pay the rent of Mary Gringoire, who was being troubled by the bailiff. Persume curses the old lady. She laments that in this way the bishop would sell everything. His sister Persume was a worldly woman, neither as a selfless or as his brother, nor so noble. She did not like her brother to live for others and not for himself. She thought that people took unfair advantage of his charitable nature. He has already sold many of his belongings to help others. Even after selling all he had for others, felt sorry that he could do so little, whereas the world has so much suffering. The bishop enters. He tells Mary that her mother is feeling better now. It's very cold outside, so he gives his comforter to Mary and asks her to go home. Persume is angry with the bishop. She says that every clever person will dupe him. But the bishop thought that if the people pretended to be distressed and deceived him, then they are poorer in spirit than not he. He says that he would give away everything. The bishop says that there is so much suffering in the world and he can do so little. Persume chanted that one day he would sell the candlesticks also. But the bishop assures her that he would never sell them as they are the symbol of love of his mother. However, in the very next breath, he feels bad. The bishop's door was never shut and it was open for everybody. The arrival of the convict is midnight. Persume goes to bed. Then the convict enters with a long knife in his hand. He threatens to kill the bishop if he tries to call out. The convict demands food. The bishop assures him that he shall have food. He calls Persume to open the cupboard. Persume comes. She is scared to see the knife in the convict's hand as he looks like a wild beast. The bishop consoles her and takes the keys to the cupboard from her. Then he serves the convict cold pie, wine, and bread. The convict eats greedily, as he has not eaten for 3 days. After taking the food, the convict feels relaxed. He tells the bishop that he has lived in hell for 10 years. When the bishop asks him to tell him more, the convict narrates the circumstances under which he reached the hell. Once he had a lovely wife and a home. His wife was ill and they had no food. He could get no work. His wife, Janity, was dying. So he stole money to buy food for her, but he was caught and sentenced to 10 years imprisonment. The jailer told him that his wife had died the night he was sentenced. In prison he was beaten mercilessly. He was chained up like a wild beast and beaten like a hound. He was fed with filth and covered with vermin. He slept on boards and complained, but he was beaten more. One day they forgot to chain him and he escaped. They took away his name and gave him only a number. After he escaped from the prison, he has been wandering from pillar to post. Nobody is ready to provide him with food and shelter. The bishop is deeply moved to hear the convict's story. He tells the convict that he has suffered a lot, yet there is hope for him. Then he tells the convict to sleep in the room for the night and assures him that no one will disturb him. Saying this, the bishop goes inside to bring covering for him. The bishop looks at the candlesticks. He takes them down from the mantelpiece. He finds that they are quite heavy and made of pure silver. On his return, the bishop notices the candlesticks in his hands. He tells the convict that they are a parting gift from his dying mother. He bids the convict good night and goes to sleep. In his absence, the convict stuffs the candlesticks in his coat and escapes. The next morning, Persone finds the candlesticks missing. She raises a hue and cry. She wakes up the bishop. The bishop also regrets the loss of the candlesticks. Persone wants the bishop to inform the police, but the bishop does not want the convict to be sent back to prison again. He says that it was a sin, that he says too great a store by him. Persone insists on informing the police. Then the bishop instructs her not to do so. Just then a sergeant enters with 3 policemen and the convict bound. The sergeant says that the convict was going along the road suspiciously. On searching him, they found the candlesticks on his person. He remembered that the candlesticks belonged to the bishop. So they brought them to him. The bishop looks at the convict. The convict looks at him defiantly. The bishop tells the sergeant that the gentleman he has brought is his very good friend. He honored him to dine with him last night and he gave him those candlesticks. The sergeant accepts his explanation with a bit of difficulty and goes out after releasing the prisoner. The convict is now a changed man. He is shamefaced. Persone accuses him of devilry. The bishop asks him to sleep. But the convict says that he must go to Paris by traveling at night. He admits that he did not believe there was any good in the world, but it was still there. When the convict is about to go, the bishop gives him the candlesticks, saying that these might help him. He even tells him a safe passage to Paris. Now, the convict is overwhelmed with remorse. He sobs and says that the bishop has made him feel like another man now. He feels that he is a man now and not a wild beast. As parting advice, the bishop tells the convict to remember that this poor body is a temple of the living God. The convict assures him to remember that. Friends, for more information, please do find the reference given here. Thank you very much for watching this video till the end. Hope we will meet in the next video. The next video is about recap of all the sessions of the lesson. Watching for the next session. Thank you once again. Bye. Take care.